Hello, this is Kate from Daily Tarot Girl, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. And for this week's reading, I'm using a deck that I've really been enjoying lately. It's called the This Might Hurt Tarot Deck by Isabella Rotman. And I'm going to start by drawing 3 cards. Now, each card is going to represent a segment of the upcoming week. And my intention, as always, is to get an overview of the week ahead and some of the opportunities and energies that might be coming up for us. Now, if you're new here, welcome. Please leave me a comment, give me a like, subscribe to my channel. I post these videos every Friday, sometimes other days, depending. And I am offering private readings right now. I only offer private readings twice a year, in January and in the summer. So if you want a summer tarot reading from me, I'll put the link below and you can check it out. Okay, let's have a look at the first card. So the first card we have here is the World. So this card is for the beginning of the week, so like Monday, Tuesday-ish. And for some reason, I'm out of breath. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I was like, out of breath. I guess I'm just getting really excited to do this reading for you. So the World is a major arcana card. And it's actually the last major arcana card. So the first card in the tarot is the Fool, which is number 0. And then 21 is the last major arcana card. So it actually represents like an ending, kind of closing the book, the last chapter. It symbolizes a form of completion. You're coming full circle, you're completing something. And sometimes it can come up if we've achieved something, if we've finished a project or finished something. We're kind of closing the door on something, finishing up a chapter of something. So this is kind of, in some ways, it's a card of celebration at having accomplished something, having achieved something. So for some of us, this is going to be making sense. But a few other things that I'm noticing as I look at this card. Okay, I'm noticing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of symbols on this card. And it's interesting when you look at a tarot card, like I'm looking at the World, I'm noticing all these different symbols, but some of the symbols my attention just isn't drawn to. Like I know the big symbol is the snake swallowing its tail. I'm seeing that symbol, but I don't want to talk about it. Like I'm not drawn to it. And again, like she's holding these 2 batons that have flames on both ends. Again, that's interesting, but I'm not really drawn to that symbol. I'm drawn to her posture, the way that she's kind of dancing in midair. That to me is really interesting. There is something dancey about the way she's moving, and she kind of has her eyes closed, and she's dancing through this 0, this doorway, this gateway. It's like a portal, and she's kind of dancing through it. I feel like this symbolizes making some sort of transition at the beginning of this week. And this is going to be very different for all of us. We're all going to experience this differently. But it's like we're sort of finishing up one chapter and we're kind of dancing through this portal into the next phase, into the next chapter. So a question I have with this card is what are you closing the book on? What are you wrapping up? What are you finishing up? This isn't the same as like the Death card is also a card of transition. It's about closing the door on something and then opening a new door. But with Death, it feels a little more somber, like you're kind of letting go of something and it might be a little bit painful or difficult. Whereas with the World, it's the opposite. It's the opposite feeling. It's a feeling of exuberance and like, I'm finished with this now and I'm going to move on. The other thing I noticed with this card is the 4 corners have the 4 symbols of the 4 suits. So we have the sword, pentacle, wand, and cup. And to me, this is about integrating all aspects. And it's that keyword integration I feel is important when we're talking about the world. The beginning of the week is a good time to check in with yourself and see if you can integrate these 4 areas. So the Suit of Swords is about the mind and the mental aspect, your mental state, your mental focus. Cups is about feelings, emotions, relationships. Pentacles is the physical stuff, so your body, your health, finances, money. And Wands has to do with energy and spirit and inspiration and drive. Are all of these things aligned for you? Are you able to give attention to all of these things? Can you integrate all of these aspects into your day-to-day life and into your week? Let's have a look at the next card. So we have the Hierophant for let's see if I can get some of that glare. There's a bit of, no, that doesn't work. Okay. Okay, we have the Hierophant for the middle of the week, so kind of like Wednesday, Thursday-ish. So another major arcana card. And the Hierophant is really encouraging us to... Well, let me back up a second. So the Hierophant symbolizes traditions, institutions, and structures. What I'm thinking as I look at this card is how we use certain structures and regimens and recipes in our day-to-day life and how we make those work for us. So when I look at the Hierophant, immediately what comes to mind is have a plan, have a schedule, have a to-do list, have some sort of plan that you follow, some sort of formula. That's what's really going to help this week, especially if you have a lot on your plate, or maybe you just feel overwhelmed by this world-like energy and all the possibilities that it represents. Maybe when I was talking about those 4 corners and integrating your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your feelings, relationships, maybe all of that felt overwhelming. The Hierophant is saying, get organized, have some kind of a structure, have some kind of a plan to follow. That's what's going to help you get over that feeling of overwhelm, is to sort of get organized. Another thing that the Hierophant is all about is rules and following rules. And sometimes this can be helpful for us if we have certain rules for ourselves. Like sometimes I have the rule for myself that I have to get out of bed before 8:15. Because if I don't, I usually don't have a very productive day. Or maybe I have the rule for myself that I need to get outside for a walk every morning or whatever. And sometimes those rules that we have for ourselves help us kind of stay on track. So it's about figuring out, what kind of a routine really works for you. Let's look at the end of the week. Okay. Here we have 7 of Wands. So very different from the last 2 cards. So this is for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the 7 of Wands shows that by the end of the week, you might be feeling like you kind of have to stand up for yourself. You might experience friends or family members being kind of critical of you or questioning you. You might feel like people are kind of questioning you on things and questioning why you're doing certain things, or why you're doing certain things the way you're doing them, and why you want the things you want. And you may feel that your very core essence, your values, what's important to you, is coming under attack or being criticized. And the 7 of Wands is saying, it's important for you to stand your ground when it comes to issues that are important to you. It's important to stand up for yourself, but at the same time, don't get sucked into this trap of feeling defensive every time someone disagrees with you or has some kind of feedback for you or criticizes you in some way. What I'm noticing about the Seven of Wands, she's got this bow and arrow, but it's not raised up. She's not pointing it at anyone. It's actually pointed at the ground. She's kind of ready to use it, and she has this defensive stance, but she's not actually pointing her bow and arrow at anyone, despite the fact that all these little pointy sticks are pointing at her. And it's kind of a message like, pick and choose your battles. You don't have to go to bat for every single little issue. Sometimes it really helps to just let something go and not get your panties in a twist over it. So that's my advice with the Seven of Wands. Pick and choose your battles. Okay, let's look at all of these cards together now. Let's see what the theme is. Okay, so the Hierophant, I'm going to kind of go on a different tangent with the Hierophant now. The Hierophant can also symbolize people in your life trying to kind of dictate things to you and being like, this is how it is. This is how it has to be. This is the rules you have to follow. And it's a very different energy. It's like this top-down kind of domineering energy. It's very different from the energy of the world. The world is actually saying the world is your oyster. And the more open you are, the better it is. And so it's this card of possibilities, really. So you start the week off with this sort of openness, a lot of possibilities. And then we get to the Hierophant, which is a very different kind of energy. And sometimes when you encounter that energy, it can make you get defensive, like with the Seven of Wands. What's important, I think, to remember is to stay in your power here. Don't let other people's insecurities or criticisms bring you out of this place of feeling open and whole and integrated and joyful and powerful. So just being aware that there might be other forces at play this week that might sort of cause you to feel a little bit defensive, and just being kind of on the lookout for that. And I think that the more you integrate these four aspects, your mind, body, spirit, emotions, the more you integrate those things and pay attention to those different aspects of your life, the easier it will be to stay in that place of joyful alignment that we see with the world. Okay, I don't think there's anything else that I want to mention, but I want to open it up and I want to invite you to share your own ideas about these cards. So if you want to, in the comment section below, feel free to post your own thoughts on these cards, your own interpretations, or to share if the message of these cards resonated for you or didn't resonate for you. Feel free to share in the comments below. And you might want to check out my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I'll put the link below. I've got lots of really fun tarot learning resources on there for you to check out. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.